And welcome to Rumbie Uncensored. I want to say it's good to see everyone and thank you so much for coming through. I am so excited. Welcome everybody. And if it's your first time to come across this channel, please do yourself a favor and subscribe and make sure that you ring the bell because this is your home. You know, we have a lot of conversations here depending on what's trending. Our current affairs are so important, mainly Zimbabwe, even though we do kind of deal with a lot going on in the world, but it's Zimbabwe to be specific. So yeah, come over please, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that every time I'm live you'll be notified. Now Moses is right here. Good to see you, Moses. And to my regulars like Moses, Nessa, Hesi, I want to say shout out to you and thank you so much guys for coming through. We need to have a conversation. I actually saw this headline today at Zimbabwe, and I know some people are like, Zimbabwe is my brother. He had another interview last night where they were really also discussing SADC issues, and this morning it dropped this headline and I went in to take a listen. It was really, really incredible. I said, let's share, and also I can also give you my own opinions. Good to see everybody. Flavor. I just hope you know that in the next 2 days is going to be Valentine. Yeah, please, you need to come here and show off. Come here and show off. Aubrey, good to see you. How is Forways? I'm so glad you guys are here and thank you so much for coming through. Honestly, I'm grateful. All right, so we need to deal with the icebreaker right now. Yeah, right now. So, all right, so my brother tweeted today, Alinaka, he said, starve in dignity than eat in shame. Starve in dignity than eat in shame. My dad used to say, I'd rather starve with God than shine with the devil. He would say, I would rather starve with God than dine with the devil. Wow, what a powerful and a strong statement there. Starve in dignity than eat in shame. Okay, so the President Emerson Mnangagwa was in Dubai today. And I want to take a listen to what President Emerson Mnangagwa said. He literally is still giving you hope. He said, no, we need to change our, technologies. He was there with the Minister of ICT and also Kazembe, and I think there was Frederick Shava as well. So we need to take a listen to what President Emerson Mnangagwa said. Very important, words right there. Let's take a listen to the President Emerson Mnangagwa.
We don't have, we are almost 1,000 years behind in terms of technology. When you look at what's happening here, for instance, they can look at the entire city from one room, monitor, and reach any place in minutes. I didn't know such technology existed. Now I need serious cooperation with Zimbabwe and Dubai, because this is the way to go. This technology in action. Saying I am my Minister of Science and Technology, I want to have this expertise which we have seen here in terms of science and technology for us to also have it in Zimbabwe. I'm sure there's no need of inventing the wheel when it is already being applied elsewhere, and the UAE is very friendly to Zimbabwe. So we need further cooperation in science and technology for us to leapfrog our technology. Everything that
all right, so you had the president, he said, no, you need to start implementing really like, I'm talking about very modern technology in Zimbabwe. I also saw what the Minister of ICT shared. I think, did you know that now we've got robots in Zim that can actually, save you food if you're in restaurants. I'm sure those are top class restaurants, mainly where the elite eats and dine. The robot can come through. I saw them with Papa, Sazane Muriwo, coming to your tables instead of the people. It means most people are going to lose jobs. This is why I keep on pushing on the agenda that the society must be conducive so that at least people can create their own employment. If robots are coming, we have to think and also begin to have all these innovations and just create employment for yourself. Whatever that you think you're good at, go ahead and do it. And guys, do you know that with the YouTube thing, apparently in Zimbabwe, because we don't have like a stable currency, most of people in Zimbabwe can't even earn. And which I was even saying, I've seen quite a number of people like China. There's a couple that I follow in China. They do like rural vlogs. Whatever they do in the rural, when they go to their own if they go for Kunorima Kumunda, and when everything that they do in the rural, they literally like document that it's top class. It's so beautiful to watch, and people love it. They've got literally thousands of followers. Sometimes their videos goes with 1 million views. Just imagine How many people could create employment in Zimbabwe if people had access to internet? I'm talking about very, very stable internet. Just imagine what people could do. Imagine, really it's time. I'm glad he was with the Minister of ICT. Tomorrow we need to do some follow-ups on Twitter and say, ma'am, we saw you in Dubai. What did you come up with? People are crying that they need internet in the country. I had also the Starlink, that if you can have one, you're going to be arrested. But then there were back and forth debates online where people were saying, but ZBC is using Starlink. What about Muchangwa's son is also marketing Starlink? So why do you say that if people use it, they're going to be arrested? I hope that is resolved. I hope it is resolved. All right, so please don't forget, guys, to like the live. I am begging you of God. We need to push algorithm so other people can come through, so they can join us. It's getting interesting now. I can tell you. So about 3-4 days ago, I got a message from one of my friend. He's an attorney in Zimbabwe. He's I don't know if a top politician, but I don't want to mention their names. I was like, hey, do you know that I'm in the pub here, and I'm seeing this. Some of my friends, two of my friends, professors, are at the corner, and they're like very, 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 like seriously watching. And we didn't know what were they watching, and we weren't there. They were watching our videos. They were literally watching one of the videos that we did. Can you see? Zimbabwean people, professors and doctors are watching this. It's about time we have a conversation. This is why I always encourage you. We don't want people who come here to be rude and send vile. We don't want that. You're more than welcome to share your views, but do it respectfully. This is the community we are trying to build in the country. It's not always about throwing shade and throwing anger all over the place. No. Facts only, like what my brother Ali always say. Facts only, no anger. Facts only. All right, so let's move. Did you see a video that is circulating of Nelson Chamisa? He's literally dancing, dancing and having some party. I said, people are just going haywire, but the dude is at peace. And I said, that's the anointing of ease that my dad always talk about. That in the midst of the storm, you have got peace. It's called the anointing of ease. So that's what's going on with the brother. You went in and said, hope is the Zimbabwean signature. That's Nelson Chamisa here. Everywhere I look and everywhere I go, I see the hope and resilience of Zimbabweans. The spirit of hope, steadfastness, optimism in the face of adversity is evidently palpable. The answer for everyone is coming. God is in it. One people, one love, one Zimbabwe. And solicitor at large, Tony said, for everyone, thus be some catchy party name, Mr. President. So you may consider to use for everyone, when you, finally launch the name of the blue train. And, so we're all waiting. And this was an interesting tweet actually sent out by Ali to the police, the police of Zimbabwe. And he actually tagged police Zimbabwe. He said, dear police Zimbabwe, this is what a professional police force looks like. Nothing works if the politics is not right. That includes captured police officers. So he was literally referring to the police that were guarding the EFF when they were launching their manifesto. You say South African police, very professional. They are standing there watching, making sure everyone is okay. And this is an alternative party that is also vying for presidential post, as well. But in Zimbabwe, it's different. There's always a fight. The police are blocking people's posts, rallies. There's fight. That one fought with the police. It is really sad to watch. Honestly, like we are in 2024, guys. We can do better. And I agree with you, we can do better. It's time that we will change. You know what I'm saying? Like, one classes, one respect and love. You know what I mean? Not every time there's always violence. And I've seen, let me just say this. I want to say shout out to Bulawayo polices. Listen, Bulawayo police force is top notch, top class. I don't know what's going up in Harare, but honestly, as much as I love all my brothers, but we need to, let's just give people their flowers while they're still alive. Bulawayo police are top class. They are respectful. You people don't just get arrested for nothing. No. They have to make sure they investigate. They call you in if it has anything to do with politics. They speak to you properly and ask you, without intimidating you and pushing around. It's time for us to implement professionalism in our police force. That's what he was saying. It's time to implement professionalism in our police force. All right, so now, this was one of the most interesting video that was a Kenyan had to drop. I'm telling you, the most interesting video. I want you to pay attention to and listen. He was literally saying, how do you gauge if a country is stable? The first intro, I'm a firm believer that if you want to see something is working or not, you don't need to, to break the bank. You need to look at small things, small details, to prove that someone is a good person or not. Look into small things. Don't rush. Small things, how they treat people, how they care for the poor, how they respect their parents. Minor things. Now he was talking about how can you be able to see a nation, that a nation is stable. Very, very interesting points right there. But let's take a listen. What to look for, just to confirm that the nation is stable. Simple principles, but yet very impactful. Take a listen.
Let me. As I answer that, I want to say that there are four things. Sociology, we say that there are four things that tell you about a country. And I'll just list them very quickly. If you want to know about a country, you look at its central bus station. That's the first thing you look at.
Yes.
The second thing you look at is the ruling party headquarters. The third thing that you look at is the national, whatever game that is popular in that country, the national team, and how it is cared for, and how it's performing. And the last is hospitals for that country, the public hospitals, and the kind of treatment that goes on there. Those are the four things that you do. So if you land in Rwanda, and you go to the central bus.
Honestly, I'm going to repeat because I want you guys to actually listen and just think about our situation in the country. Listen carefully. Let's start again. I'm very much interested.
Let me. As I answer that, I want to say that there are four things. Sociology, we say that there are four things that tell you about a country. And I'll just list them very quickly. If you want to know about a country, you look at its central bus station. That's the first thing you look at. The second thing you look at is the ruling party headquarters. The third thing that you look at is the national, whatever game that is popular in that country, the national team, and how it is cared for, and how it's performing. And the last is hospitals for that country, the public hospitals, and the kind of treatment that goes on there. Those are the four things that you do. So if you land in Rwanda, and you go to the central bus station, it tells you the story of that country. That is the story of the workers of that country. If you go to the political party headquarters of the ruling party of that country,
right,
that tells you about the institutions of that country.
Right.
If you go to the hospital, it tells you about how women are valued, because women are the ones who use hospitals most to give birth, to take sick children, to take care of relatives, and they are the users of hospitals. And that has never been understood very well. And finally, the national team and how it is performing and being taken care of tells you about how the youth are valued and how talent is valued. So you will see that the national team of a country like ours, they don't even get paid their basic allowance. That tells you everything you need to know about the youth and talent. Zero.
Did you hear that, guys? Number one, he brought up, that's a powerful point. If you want to see, if that country is really successful or not. So number one is their what do you call them? Your bus station. You can only imagine. Let me tell you, when I came in Johannesburg a long time ago, everyone who stays in South Africa knows that you don't, if you get by the taxi rank, there's no good to know, but Marinyango can no say, Kunyango ne handbag, no dress, Kunyango can say, you got the back. You don't question, you all know where to go. You find the queue there, you just go the back. And even they're taxing. There's a number of the tax that if that number is, yes, if they reach that number, it does not matter how late you are, you wait for the next tax. Just tell me what's going on in our country when it comes to the Makombi, the driver. What's happening? If you get the taxi rank, it's chaos everywhere, not in other countries. He's saying that's how you can determine where the nation stands. Simple principles, but those principles really, really, really impact lives. So number two, you can also look at your hospitals as well. How is it with you? Our hospitals. Tell me. It's those simple principles. You can actually see if the country is moving or not. Now you also talk about the headquarters of the ruling party. Let's look at ZANU-PF headquarters. You know that building that has got a top thing that's written ZANU-PF? How is the condition of that building? Just from the outside. It'll show you what's really going on in the country. What an interesting thing. Very simple principles, but yet impactful. On its own, from the things that I mentioned right now, you can all tell. You also talk about soccer. You know, the national soccer team, how they play soccer. Where are we now? I saw people fighting online today, questioning the Minister of Sports. That white lady. What's happening? In 2020, she said she was going to revamp the stadium. Now we're in 2024. Nothing was done till today. She just said the same thing last week. We are going to revamp the stadium. People said, we are tired of being promised over and over and nothing works. Again, simple principles. I remember we actually to ask Rwanda to accommodate us to play soccer. Simple things that we can actually resolve. It is said, but it's a reality. How you would know if the country is really, stable economically or not. Their tax rank or their bus terminus where people, when you're coming from work as an accountant or you're coming from work, as a doctor, because you may not have a car, right? When you get by the terminus, is there order there? It will determine if you're getting a better salary at work or not. Simple principles. Very sad. Things that we need to fix. Interesting, really. Very sad. Anyway, moving on. Nelson Chamisa. Now we are talking about the issue of SADC. I do remember this. Nelson Chamisa made it clear. We are now going to talk about the issue of SADC. I just pray that this is really here. Oh boy. Yeah. I just wanted you to understand this very well. Very, very simple principles, yet principles that can change lives. And you talk about this when you have a book. I don't want to hear about how is the audits. Can I have the general's audit report? No. Those simple principles. The tax rank, my bus terminus, how is the situation there? Are they clean? Is there order there? Simple. And your national team, your soccer team, what's happening with the grounds? Are they really doing well in soccer? Your hospitals. Do we have medication in the hospitals? How is the situation there? Right? Simple principle. The headquarters for the ruling party. Since the party is, when you get to that headquarters, from the reception, everything's top class. The way they receive you, if you've got a problem, the way they're actually going to listen to you and take it to the right people who can actually get to understand you. It seems like we are spending all our time is toxicity everywhere. It's screaming, it's shouting, intimidation. You ask yourself, Lord. You ask yourself questions. If I live right now and go to EFF, I'm talking about an alternative party's offices. If I get to their offices, top class. You know what I'm saying? In 2024, that's what we are talking about. That we need to modernize our space. But I guess we take those things very lightly. But honestly, they are so important. We need to understand they are really, really important. Now, let me just read here what Nelson Chamisa actually wrote this afternoon. All right, so he said the consequences of broken politics within a space of just a month. The economy has registered the following disturbing developments. Number one is the budget for a family of 5. It has doubled from around 3 million Zimbabwean local dollar or local currency in December 2023 to 6.2 million. So from 3 million to 6.2 million, that's a family of 5. The amount that they need to spend per month. January 2024, which is about $600 at a time when workers are taking home approximately $70. Imagine A family of 5 should be spending $600 per month just to have a decent meal. But unfortunately, workers are taking $70 home. After tax, loans, third-party payments are deducted as well from that amount, $70. Oh no, after that, then you're going to take $70 home. I'm just thinking, how much is $70? It's almost less than 1.2 rands or 1.2 rands, 1,200 rands. I can't even buy food for my family. For myself, it's not enough for me as a person. So this is someone's salary. The value of national budget has been halved within a month after official exchange depreciated by more than 100%, incapacitating the government of Zimbabwe from meeting critical payments. Number 3 is annual inflation rose by about 323% to hit 1,347% first week of February 2024. That is the inflation year. Do you remember last week when Mr. Mtulimwa was actually giving out the budget? And he did it in the local currency, and I was like, this is not a good idea. Local currency. But look where we are now. From 323, that's per year, right? This is, I don't know how many, multiplied by what? Almost like 4 multiplied by 4 in percentage to hit almost 1.347% the first week of February, which is this past week. The inflation has moved from 323% to 1.347%. You can't begin to actually think, you can't fathom how people are living and how they're surviving. All these are symptoms of a fraudulent elections, disputed national processes, and a broken politics. So that's the reason. A fraudulent election is what brought us here. Yeah, this past election was an interesting one. Words can't even begin to, I have no words to explain what happened this past year. Words aren't enough for me to explain what truly happened. But you were there, you saw it, you witnessed it. You know, before we even talk about, because I know some people would like us to say, no, let's talk about, you know, the technicalities. Nah, with all due respect, you know, technicalities are great.
And they've given me
Okay.
a mandate to make sure that I use every platform, locally, nationally, and internationally, to share this view by the citizens. And they have indicated that they do agree that there was some kind of an elected leadership, but it's an elected leadership out of a contested and disputed election. Therefore, whatever we have is a caretaker authority. We are not coming with an answer that is prescriptive. We can't prescribe an answer. We have said we are prescribing the mechanism, and the mechanism is a political system. Let Zimbabweans fight each other. This business of repeating, you know, disputes around elections, you don't resolve it, you go to another election. You can say, let's wait for 2020, but guess what? We'll have another disputed election 2020. But between now and 2028, it's going to be fighting. No focus on the economy, focus on slogans. No focus on economics and feeding people. We are focusing on politics. That's down. Let's find each other, find permanent solutions. Right now, they're talking about by-elections. Look at the past 5 years. We're at almost, 29 by-elections. We spent, over $30 million. Can you imagine if we're taking that $30 million to give it to our civil servants and to deploy it to our hospitals and to buy ambulances? Just a political decision that is taken. Why should you have by-elections when there's no need for an election? But even the issue of making sure that there's a proper election, we need a window to deal with the toxic environment, to deal with the institutions that are not properly constituted, including ZEC. ZEC must be disbanded. There must be a properly constituted independent electoral board with representatives from all the political parties. So yes, we're not coming forward with an answer. We have our answers, but that's why it is dialogue. We want to dialogue so that we produce a mechanism that transitions our nation to a consensus, finding each other, vision sharing, What is the trajectory for this nation? Where are we going as a people? How do we work together? Even if we don't want to work together, we are sharing the same bed. ZANU, Triple C, we are sharing the same bed, and we are the dominant partners. This business of looking onto the wall, this one onto the wall, there won't be production.
All right, did you hear that? Oh, okay. Praise God. No, we are babies here. You know, sir, we are babies, like literally. You're talking to babies here. Did you hear the president of the blue heart? You know, yeah. I just want to know, guys, the fights that are going on social media, especially Twitter, you know, unbelievable. But if you're a lover of the new party that is coming up, please just drop your blue hearts here. Your blue hearts. There was someone who said yesterday that they want to actually, the person said they would want to sponsor me with a blue t-shirt and a cap. If you are there, you must go on Facebook. You should be able to get our details there and just WhatsApp us. We'll be able to respond to you. The person was like, no, you would like me to see. And I also heard people say that they are being sold t-shirts, blue t-shirts and a cap. I don't know what they're written, but some people say they're just having as Chamisa's his name and signature. No, his name is more like a signature. Yeah, so guys, the person must just get hold of us and let's hear what you're all about. So if those t-shirts are being sold, we're also more than welcome to advertise them for you so that people can buy for those that would want to buy them. You know what I mean? We're more than welcome to do so. Quite very interesting. You heard. We need a political settlement. Yes, the issue of political settlement. What I love about political settlement is, guys, we can all agree that this election of having an election every time and this fights, the same old thing, people are tired. People are saying we need a political settlement means we can all come together as a Zimbabwean people and have a conversation. Guys, we need to, I'm so sick and tired. The division is just too much. The pain is intense. And it's time for us to unite as a people of Zimbabwe to also have being a people who can converse, guys, just to converse like normal people. Personally, you can intimidate and or support a ZANU or support a Triple C or support a, guys, when are we going to just be people? Like, you know what I mean? Having classy, man. That's why what my brother Ali was saying to the police Zimbabwe and said, guys, check out the police force, how they behave when they're dealing with alternative parties in a country. They are respectful. You know what I'm saying? They're respectful. They're standing there and you've never seen them beating people or fighting with citizens. When are we going to stop? It's really not good for children. It's not good for kids. It's not good for the next generation. And especially us, you know, this new generation, we don't understand the way that you guys are behaving. We don't get it. We can't even begin to fathom how you guys are treating us. It doesn't make sense. Please treat us like human beings because you know where the danger is. You know, it's our family. From our family level, we stay in homes where our parents taught us how to communicate properly. They teach us how to be respectful. They teach us how to speak up when you're in pain. They teach us to voice us and to also contribute in the society. But the society is brutal. It does not accommodate us to be whom our parents are teaching us. So everything that we learn at home, whatever that's going on in the country, is literally like in contrast. It's really, really unfair for us. It's unfair. People go to university, and after university they've learned. They want now to implement what they've learned, but the environment does not allow them to do so. It is sad. Please afford us an opportunity to also live. You know, we want to live. We are going to schools where we meet other kids. It's like, have you ever been in a situation where you come from a very abusive family and then you go to school and you see other kids, they're getting kisses from their parents, they're being hugged, they're being told, I love you, my baby. And here you are coming from this family where it's toxic. Mom and daddy are fighting all the time. It is very, very disturbing. Honestly, it's disturbing. You know, as Zimbabwean people, we are always being known of being, you know, an interesting country. Fights all the time, you know, toxicity all the time. When are we going to be known for good? You know, if we can choose violence and fight intimidation and hatred, we can choose love. It's a matter of choice. I'm a firm believer that if you can choose to hate, you can also choose to love. It's just simply a matter of choice. We can turn, man. We can turn this country around. We can change the culture. We can change the trajectory. It's us as a people. We can move from hatred to love. You can wake up tomorrow and, because this is what shocks me the most. These people seems to be, there's so much hatred from the outside appear, but when they meet in parliament, is they laughing, they're eating together in the canteen, they're drinking together. You ask yourself questions. So why are you not spreading toxicity when you're outside? It's time you change. And remember that us as a young people, we are watching you. We are watching. And we will not forget, history will definitely going to judge. Now, moving on. So the top army generals fired over housing corruption. So the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, which brings together the country's army and air force wings, has fired 3 senior military commanders at the Zimbabwe National Army over a multi-million-dollar hard currency housing corruption scandal in an unprecedented action against venality, security sources told the Newsworks. So the Newsworks are reporting that top, 3 generals have been fired for corruption. I mean, I hope we are really digging deeper into the issue of corruption, because corruption is cancer in our society. Honestly, I may not know the nitty-gritties around this story, but I hope it's going to be a developing story that we are following and we are watching. But the bottom line is that corruption is a disease in this country. It is definitely a disease. But I wanted to remind you to what Mr. Chamisa said. I don't know if you guys remember what he said, Minister Chamisa, when he was talking about elections. When he said he was so unhappy that people really, they did not vote properly. Do you remember that? Do you remember when he said people didn't vote properly and ZANU-PF, did not win election because of, he said, but the spirit medium, which was Nehanda's medium, fought for them. Do you remember that, guys? Do you remember that video? That was circulating, actually. That the medium, like the spirit medium, which was also spoken by Mtambara, that there is a medium that literally that we actually don't take serious, but there is a medium that has really been like literally maybe shaping the direction that most of our leaders are taking, or give them direction, like like advising them. So that medium fought, even though ZANU-PF people did not vote properly, the medium fought that they could be in power too today. Quite interesting. You remember the story? Yes. Yes, that medium, that one. But they were, listen, both in Triple C, there are fights as we speak right now. If you go to Twitter, honestly, our country is broken. And if you go to ZANU-PF as well, it's both ways. It's fight both ways. ZANU-PF in their camp are fighting. Triple C, because remember, I left Triple C because of those fights. Look at them. They're also fights. But today, because yesterday I pursued the Triple C one, you're going to see them further on when we talk about Wende. But I wanted us to actually follow this. So there was a ZANU-PF, one of this guy who is really a hardliner, like, those gatekeepers, or a loyalist to the party. He tweeted praising really Mnangagwa's son, that is David Mnangagwa. So he said, Deputy Minister Kudakwashe David Mnangagwa is working hard to stabilize the Zimbabwean dollar and implement economic reforms through the Ministry of Finance. He is committed to restoring confidence, preserving value, and boosting growth for all Zimbabweans. Hashtag Zimbabwe economy. So that's what he tweeted. And trust me. And he also went on to, and then people were angry. Not people from other side, people from ZANU-PF were very angry. And there's a woman called Gugu. She responded, she said, the level of bootlicking has reached extremes. Honorable Mutuli is there, and Kuda is a deputy for a reason. Comrades should respect hierarchy, and the appointer iri dzungu iri ngari pere atisukuda dzungu. And then he responded, the Twitter, this was is Gachange, or it's Tinotenda Gacha, that's his name. He said, Hapamborina dzungu apa comrade, van maingo hyper comrade machakaire one, Kes Coventry, Muchimusia, Maiva Musingazive hierarchy, Yamaktaura Nasi inini, Andimire Kunyora, Santinoda. And then he also tagged someone Mukungunu or something, comrade. Mukungunugba Musami Swene Munu Nyora Fungwa Zanoda. And then he responded, she said, nobody stopped you. I guess you too can't stop people from expressing their views. If you want yours to be respected, then respect others within their ranks. And And then Isaiah also again in ZANU-PF said, my sister, you're right. The way the post is written has an implement of portraying the deputy as if he is working more harder than the minister. Yes, it's good to appreciate the deputy minister, but let's not write in a manner that appears to undermine Professor Mutuli Ngube. And he said also, very true. Then Great said, the moment we see such sentiments, we know something is brewing. Not long time ago, somebody mentioned that Mutuli Ngube will be just but ceremonial minister. They never kurana chino chabo. These are just people dropping their own tweets like they're crazy there. And Jigman said, you are right, Sisi. Iwe bootlicking in a wudo from Kati. A deputy cannot be better than the minister Mutuli Ngube. All I'm saying is what's going on in the country right now, both ways with Triple C and ZANU-PF, is simply a way that we are like in a burning furnace where God is working in us. Let me tell you, when we come out of this, we're all gonna be okay. The unity that we're crying for will be fine, because both ways people are just fighting. Before we used to see, protecting wrong, but now it's different. It's that moment, it's that season where God is working in us. The life that you guys are living is not normal. It's time for you to just come together and build the Zimbabwe that you all want. And people are asking, where's SADC? Why is he really quiet? Mr. BT, shout out to you. Why are you so quiet? Where is he? That's what people are asking. But let me tell you, if there ever been a person who's being disrespectful, today is Wende. By the way, last night he had to take down his Twitter page because people, they went after him and he could not stand. The heat was too much. Then he decided to deactivate his account. But he came back today. He's like, I'm back. I felt better. He had a bit of a break because it's also like that, he's that keyboard warrior, So now he's back. But he decided to again, like I said, trying us like he does. Yesterday we had him talking about the SADC thing and bashing the election. Not only did he do that, now he came back today and he's laughing. That is Zimbabwe must just waiting for 2028 elections. So just take a listen to him mocking us with his friend. Take a listen. That's Wendy. And so I'm not 2028. So we are talking about fixing this 2023 election. And he's the same person who was talking about 2023 election, that this election must be fixed. But now he has turned. He's singing a different song. He's singing a different song where he's actually mocking us. And he says, no, there won't be no election. Elections can only come in 2028. Then can you see why Chamisa walked away from this nonsense? I don't blame him. Honestly, if a person can look at what happened last year, that was normal, I can't work with a person like that. If he doesn't know how to differentiate between wrong and right, we can't be buddies. Like, we really can't work together. You know what I mean? We cannot. And respect for Nelson Chamisa for leave people like this, like Wende, who are not stable. We're literally mocking the fact that we want to correct what happened last year. And no, to him, it's like, no, nothing happened. Everything is just cool. Wrong. And you're talking about 2028, no reforms, and having another drama again, but time is moving and people are suffering. It is said, I'm actually embarrassed for Wendy. Honestly, I used to respect him, but this man, all of a sudden, is just tend to be so mean and vile. I don't know. But anyway, we are watching. Let's see where he's going. So people are asking, where is his friend? Tendai Biti is very quiet, even after he was bastardized by Hope Ochingono for his actions of saying that he was the vice president, and also referring to the leadership of 2019 after the Congress in MDC. Hope wasn't happy, but they're good friends. So now people are asking questions. Sani Makalima, he said, at BT, sir, why aren't you leading the party as a vice president? What does Constitution say about succession? Why not implement it now? Why aren't you communicating with the party voters? You said you don't know anything. If you don't know, who knows? Your party's people have questions. People are asking questions. Mr. BT, why aren't you leading Citizen Coalition for Change? Since you said you are the vice president, honestly, if someone goes, you know, the leader resigned, you automatically take over the party, isn't it? No, but then Tik Tank said the party is hijacked. No, the party was hijacked by ZANU-PF. We all failed to get it back from hijackers that includes Nelson Chamisa, Tendai Biti, Ostanos, Wende, Mahere, Shibaya. None was able to get authority from Shavangu. Remember, Shavangu is the one that kind of the leader. So it's three factions, Shavangu, Tendai Biti, and also the one for Promise Mukwananzi. So there are three factions of Triple C as we speak. So Wende, I told you, is back. He said, Happy New Week, everyone. Thank you to all who reached out with concern over my temporary deactivation of this account. It's been a turbulent time here on X, and not without reason. I've remained quiet through the instability and major issues that have engulfed Triple C, not by choice, but due to circumstances beyond my control. I'll always have total respect for our leader, President Nelson Chamisa, and ultimately, many things were not for me to discuss publicly despite the age. I realize how much my silence on certain matters have affected our supporters and the public. And for that, I'm truly sorry. It's been crucial to avoid fueling the flames of division further. The times I've attempted to defend myself from abuse and unfounded allegations could and should have been handled better. It is difficult to defend myself with both hands tied behind my back. For this, again, my sincere apologies to everyone who has had to witness this and to anyone offended in those moments. I will be far more reflective and also conscientious in how I respond publicly going forward. I'll be speaking with Blessed Mutlanga on Thursday, the 22nd of February, about my views on Triple C issues, the painful recalls, Shavangu's allegations, part resources for agents, my removal as Secretary General, etc. I'm keen to engage honestly, and I'm happy to answer all questions about myself and my conduct. Please leave your questions in the comments below. Until the interview, I'll try to keep the content on this page informative and focus on constituents in KwaZulu East about what is going on with public accounts, as I'm the chairman of that committee and things of personal interest. And of course, Arsenal, because I think he's a supporter of Arsenal. So we're going to be following. Mr. Wende is having an interview with Blessing Mhlanga. You know HSTV? That one I know is very good at, like he's a sucker of truth. So we are waiting. I know he's going to squeeze that lemon. We're going to hear what's going on. The juice will come out. I know it's going to be sour, but it must come out from Mr. Wende. We are waiting and patiently to know what really happened between him, Sangezo Shavangu. You know, Tendai is always serious, you know, giving that face of an attorney, like, hey, don't ask me. But Wende is quite flexible. So I'm desperate to hear what is he going to be dropping. We are waiting, Mr. Wende. Hello, we are waiting. Zimbabwe is going to be an interesting, listen, it's going to be an interesting country. This time you can't escape because we are following every move that you make. Yo, politicians, we are following. And while we have conversations, Zimbabweans are well informed. You have nowhere to hide. That's why now he decided to come up so that he can defend his name. Let's wait and hear from Wende. We are very patient. We'll wait to hear from you, Mr. Wende. And Rexman has said, Mr. Wende, the major issue which needs clarification is that why did you keep quiet when Shavangu imposed himself as Secretary General? Your word was going to be enough to stop the decimation of Triple C. You could have said Shavangu is lying. I am the Secretary General. And he responded, he said, good and fair question. I promise to address this question. And Memory said, promise to tell us when the damage was already done. That's nonsense. You are not smart. Stop wasting people's time. You sell out. You are so arrogant and indecisive. You failed our movement. Why wake up from your dream of being SG when the damage has already been done? And then Skewed Red Barra, because the one that we was fighting with, he said, thank you for coming back. And he said, thanks, doctor. A brief break helps. Otherwise, X can feel like a war zone. Hope you are well. I look forward to any questions you may have that need to be addressed. So prepare your questions and make sure you ship them to Dara. He's going to be grilling Wende, Charlton Wende. He's going to be sitting on a hot seat. We're not playing. You are all going to tell us what happened between you, Sengezo, Shavangu Tendai Biti. I'm also waiting for, what's his name? Washman Ngume as well. We are waiting because we trusted in you, You know what I mean? Yeah. To whom much is given, much is expected. So we trusted in you. That's why we want you to tell us what truly happened, because you left us in a mess. All right, so now land invasions. Whew. Can I tell you, my heart is breaking for my family, my people, my brothers and my sisters. The stories that are circulating on social media are really heartbreaking. Our people are still facing evictions as we speak. And like, guys, it's one thing to evict a person in Harare, in town, in Chinoy, whatever the case may be, but the rural folks, that's a big one. That is like a thorn, in my flesh, knowing that my people, my sisters and my brothers may not even have shelter. When you hear these stories are heartbreaking. But anywho, you should listen to them speaking, some of them, because we are trying so hard. And I think also attorneys, human rights attorneys that are also, approaching the courts, try to defend the rights of some of our sisters and brothers. Take a listen.
Inendere mugari wo kwavuka masvingo village 15B takafika nawo yokuti ibvai pamugere asi hatina kuziva kuti tabva ipapo tinoenda kupi. Saka vanhu vakangonzi 7 days munofanira kunge mabva ipapo. Vazhinji vakatoputsa, vanhu vakainda, vamwe vakadini asi isu hatitorina kana plani yokuti tinoendepi. Mari dzacho hatina, chero kuti undoroja hapana, kana pfuma kana mari hapana. Taingoraramawo nokurima, tichiitawo zvokutosima michero, takacheresa migodhi, tikasima michero, mipopo yakutobereka, migwavha yakubereka, mimengo yakuberekawo, zvaitibetserawo kuti tiri panzvimbo iyoyo tigonawo kurarama. Minda izvezvi zvichibage, chimwe chatotumbuka, chakutotarisirwa kunzi mwedzi unouya uyu chine chasvikawo zvokuti tikohwo tiwanewo kurarama. Vanhu vakanzi siyai, regai zvidyiwe nemombe, musashakura, musadini. Saka vanhu izvezvi zvikutopererwa kuti toendepi, todini kuti tionewo kurarama. Hapatorina kana kuti action yekuti vanhu vari izvezvi vanhu vakatutana munomu, vamwe vacho vakatutana vakaenda kukombomi yakanzi pane chikombo chaisingagari vanhu chiri mupurazi. Ndokwavakandoungana nemhuri ikoko. Munhu ari kugara nevana 15 ari muhwani room. Zvinongova zvinhu zvakatogozha zvekuti mubereki agare nevana vakadero apa, nemapropati ose, zvimwe zviri kutotsakatikira muzuva, zvimwe zvichitsva nezuva, zvimwe zvichinaiwa nemvura. Nenyaya yekuti havana kana kuti woindepi, havana kana zvokuti vaite, hapana. Vanhu vakagumisa votengesa huku $50, $4 for 2, nokuti anga asina kana pekutangira kuti aone kuti abve panzvimbo iyoyo. Mbudzi dzaita $5, $10 mbudzi. Mombe $100, $80. Zvinova zviri zvinhu zvakafekta vanhu zvisingaiti padevelopment yavanga vava nayo. Saka izvezvi vanhu vakazosirwa pasi mazenge chaiwo atakatenga $15, vanhu vakasvikira pakumaita $4 kuti vabve panzvimbo. Asi bhinenge iroro haacharitengi futi munhu kuti azokwanisa kuita development. Akuinda kundoita squat ari munyika yake yakakurira yakazvarirwa, iyo inova yakafira zviva masekuru edu namadzibhuya edu. Saka tatichitochemawo chichemo kuhurumende kuti dai agonawo kutiti vatitirewo plan. Kana vatipa mataito deeds, votiudza kuti atomaita sei kuti tive nawo. Kana vati pamuri papapo takukuisawo apa pamusingachadzingwi, zvinenge zvichingova kwaari, asi isu vagonawo kutibetsera ipapo, kuti tibetserekewo pakugara kwedu, tigare tichiziva kuti patava kugara tavawo permanent, haticharohwe nehana. Nokuti zvezvizvi vanhu vakashungurudzika, muno manga mune misha, vanhu vanga vari muno misha inga ichidarika over 300, asi misha yose iyoyo yakaparadzwa. Vana vanoenda kuchikoro, izvezvizvi havachaendi kuchikoro nenyaya yekuti munhu ane akabhadhara pachikoro paidzidza mwana, kwaakuinda kuti andotanga kuti rendi, agoti school fees, agoti mainifomu emwana, zvaakutoremera vabereki, zvaakutoremera vanhu. Saka vanhu vari kungochema kuti dai vagonawo kutinzwa, vagonawo kuuya vatibatsirawo kuti todini, toita sei kuti tigonawo kuraramawo zvakanaka. Nokuti zvezvizvi mbavha dzaakutoba zvokuti vanhu havana kana maplani. Vanhu vari kutoba totoziva kuti vanhu vakatongodzingwa, nokuti akangodzingwa asina chaanacho. Saka kwaari kokoko kuti ararame akutofamba achitobira vamwe nekutofamba vachigarira vane vachifamba mumarodhi vachitorera zvavanenge vanazvo kuti vaone kurarama. Saka izvozvo zvinoda kuti dai hurumende yagonawo kubatsira nzvimbo ino, yagonawo kuwanawo nzira imwe yainonziwo inopuwawo zvainogonawo kuti zvinovararamisa, inogonawo kugadzirikawo kuti igonawo kugarikawo zvakanaka. Kana isingagariki vanhu vopuwawo pokugara panenge pakasununguka, nokuti vanhu havazoiti mabasa asiwo, nokuti chakuvaisa mabasa asiwo inyaya yekuti vari kutambura havana kana chinhu. Izvezvizvi vane vakugarira murodhi, vanhu vabva kunotenga zvinhu zvavo, vabva kumabasa avo, vane vachiponda vachitorera zvinhu nekuda kwekuti havana kana option. Vana vanoda kuchengetwa, mhuri dzoda kuti dzichengetwe, dziwanewo chikafu, dziwanewo chii. Munhu akatosiya munda pazhira hapana kana chikafu. Saka vanhu vari kutambura kuti vodini. Izvezvi vakatopererwa nekuti vakazama kubvunza kukoti kuti saka tikabva todini, tikanda motoona zvokuita mhenhenyu, isu tongoda kuti tiwanike musipo. Saka vanhu vakangoungana, vamwe vari mumatondo nezvinhu, vamwe vari muzvikomboni imomo, chongova chihwani rumu chaanenge awana ichocho chimukoto. Zvinhu zvake wakatutira, hapana kana pokufamba, hapana kana pokuti adini, vanongovata panze. Saka zvotoda kuti hurumende dai yagona kupindira, yagona kubatsira vanhu vari kuno, nokuti vari kuno vanoti kwai toshandisa mvura yakanaka. Isu takachera matsime edu, ini vanga hatoperi mvura kubva January kusvika December, ndoishandisa mvura iyoyo, ndoyandodizisa miti yangu iri pamba, ndoyandogezesa, ndoyandobikisa, ndoyandoshandisa zvose, kuwacha, kudii. Kukanara kwacho handitokuzivi kuti kuno kukanara kunochera mvura. Vamwe vakachera majojo, umwe naumwe padzimba imomo, umwe naumwe netsime rake, vamwe vana majojo vakatoita zvokuboresa mvura nechibhorani. Saka dai vanhu vabatsirwa, nokuti vanhu vakapererwa. Vakasvikira vamwe mbuya vari kuzasuka vakasvikira pakuti ini ndotofira pano, kana vachingondiuraya vandotiuraya havo, nokuti handisisina, ndakura, ndakashanda, ndikaunganidza, ndikavaka, ndikagara panzvimbo ndichiti ndagara. Saka kana ndonzi ibva ipapo, ini handichagoni kushanda, ndakura, handina kana kuti ndoendepi, hapatorina. Saka zvinhu zvakangoomera vanhu, izvezvi vanhu vakatoomerwa vanhu.
Wow. Yeah. All right. So, Zimbabwe, you know, he just tried to kind of educating people. You know what breaks my heart is, I mean, for decades, we know that the rural folks is always literally being, you know, like, no, don't even worry about the rural folks. I think Zimbabwe in general, you know, there's always that element, access to actually the information that is important. Just imagine, people in the rural area told them about title deeds. They were like, what are you talking about? What is a title deed? They have no clue what that means. Most of them actually. Now they're just kind of hearing this title deeds thing as a word. But I remember, I mean, both, I've always been saying, VP Chiwenga, the vice president, spoke about title deeds when he was campaigning in Mbare. Do you remember that? When I gave you title deeds, and there was some action that happened in Tafara, I remember, where they were saying they were giving people title deeds, and people were like, no, they were not title deeds. And there was such kind of exchanges on Twitter, I remember, that there were actually no title deeds. I don't know how true that is. And I also remember that even Chamisa as well, Kasukure as well, when he did his manifesto, he spoke about the issue of title deeds. So, which means the issue of land is always a problem for decades. And people knew it. Because he is literally saying the Communal Lands Act is a colonial legislation which says the land belongs to the president. So it is actually an act, but a colonial act, which says the land belongs to the president, which means what that man was saying. Remember the minister, when he spoke about the land, that the land belongs to the president, and he was sitting next to the police and the army general. You remember that in Mashingo there? And he said these evictions are not new under the new dispensation, but they show the anti-right approach that the new dispensation has pursued. Government has been prioritizing the elite and not the ordinary people. They are doing the same to the Chilonga and the Chisumbanje, where they destroyed homes to pave the way for the green fuel project. So what he's saying is this is being done for the elite, like for the rich people, for the big boys. You know, when I read this quote, literally this quote that was dropped by, that is the Standard. paper this morning. I know reminded me, you see where I stay here. Yeah, when in 2007, when I was literally working as a young, early 20 young girl. My job. And I used to pass this place where I stay. It was bushy. It was literally, people were scared to stay this area. And I remember that there was one of my clients when I was not selling property, and this client of mine, she said to me, when they were saying we must buy lands in the area, we used to say, we don't want to buy the land. That place is very scary. We didn't want to buy the land. But I said, I wish me and my husband would have bought the land, because now it's fully packed, developed. Developed. It was developed in a short space of time that you can't find no land anymore. And that developer is known, Bowen is known, the multi-billionaire is a Scotland dude. He is one of my clients. He is known for really doing incredible work. And he's built literally like all over South Africa, all over, be it Durban, Cape Town, Mpumalanga, almost everywhere he owns land there. Why am I telling you this story? Because I kind of feel that that's what's going on right now. People know that Zimbabwe is going to be a beautiful country. I think I talk about this all the time. I remember Zimbabwe, I can see a very, 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 literally top-notch country. Zimbabwe is going to change. All those dilapidated buildings will be revamped, because the real dudes with money will come as soon as all this political toxicity is just moved away. People have money. Zimbabweans have good money. You remember what Kuda said, that there were other Zimbabwean guys who had come up and said wanted to revamp Mbari. They wanted to revamp Mbari and revamp all those flats. But unfortunately, they were blocked. That you're going to be trouble. Never could, because you know what? It will never work. I remember Akudam Sasua said that. We talk about it here. And why I'm saying this is because I can tell you that whatever the agenda is really, I think it's just to buy those land and maybe then have title deeds for them, so that when Zimbabwe stabilize, so I'm suspecting these are the young boys. From the elite quarters, or their fathers, maybe they are buying this land. These are speculations. Like, they know maybe in a few years to come, maybe 5-10 years, Zimbabwe will be successful and clean, developing almost every city. That's when you find that there's a dude that is owning almost land all over the place. But I'm not comparing, of course. Bowen is known that he bought this land. He literally bought them, because I know how he started and how he was loaning the land through the banks. That's different. But these issues that we are hearing now, that the lands are being sold to rich people, the elites, and I'm thinking that is the goal. These are the people who will be building malls, maybe outskirts, or building developments, because now the country is booming, the economy is working, and the working class needs accommodation. Like what I'm telling you about this guy is known. Bowen is known that he's literally, like, most young people are staying in his houses. People, when he started his projects, they were buying, like, I'm talking about buying real, money. There's Zimbabwean guys who owns houses, yeah. Yes, ma'am and sir. Investments, yeah. Some politicians and all, and ministers, whatever, but which is not my business. But I'm just saying, I think that's the goal. I'm just speculating. I think that's the goal, because they know Zimbabwe is going to be a beautiful country. There's no doubt about that. All that you see now is going to pass you. This is why I always said, please stick around in your rural folks. Make sure you do your things right, because those rural places that you're talking about is going to be developed heavily, because that will be, people would rather stay in those places than to stay in a area where there's always, people are like, it's dirty, like you are on top of each other. Some of us want peace, outskirts, next to mountains, beautiful houses, malls next door, just gonna drive your car, buy your groceries, come home, roads will be paved. Things are going to change. Trust me, they're gonna change. I think that's what's happening here. But what hurts me is, it is a colonial legislation which says the land belongs to the president. Yeah. Xavier Kasukwire, because they've been his PF, so definitely he must be much aware of what's going on. He also owns land there. Remember Bona? 21 farms of land, and a lot of people owning a land. And people were saying, if Bona can have 21, what about his brothers? What about my generals? What about politicians? How many farms are they owning? That's why now we're having all these heart-breaking stories. Sometimes I feel like our land is cursed. Like, the land is cursed. And honestly, maybe we should pray for the land that God can forgive us whatever we did wrong. Because the things that keep happening in the country, they're shocking. These are mothers and kids don't have a place to stay. They stayed there for years. They buried their family members there. Do you understand me? Your family members. I've told you. I can only imagine if they can come and remove my family. We buried my mom there. My grandfather's father. Our family is there that we're going to heaven. We literally have there are monuments there. There's that richness of culture, of my tradition. And all of a sudden we are losing that. I can only imagine. That's going to drive me crazy out. Crazy. It's sad. Something has to give. The human rights attorney, we beg you, please jump up and help our people. Do whatever you can. Can something be done so that our people can have a place to stay? This can't be normal. It can't be normal. Seveka Sukre, so he wrote a piece. He said a holistic review of the Communal Lands Act is now imperative to arrest the chaos we are witnessing. Unplanned settlements have cropped up everywhere, and because of corruption, the situation is truly out of control. The state should move swiftly to align the land authorities from the village head, chiefs, land officers, councillors, the Minister of Lands, and the Minister of Local Government. There are a raft of acts that regulate the land, and more often than not, they don't speak to each other, hence the chaos. Then the Ministry of Cooperative, Rural District, and Urban Authorities all have responsibility to administer the land. I feel for the Minister of Local Government at present because it is not an easy task to preside over the demolition of homesteads and exposing vulnerable children and elders. On the other hand, if it's not done, the chaos will continue. I suggest that Cabinet urgently sets up a committee to review the legal instruments at hand and harmonize them. Secondly, identify and plan how the affected families can be assisted and resettled legally. I need to remind you of the need to give appropriate title to citizens to avoid the chaos we are seeing. The road ahead is littered with huge obstacles for the ministry, and it's essential that they communicate effectively for society to appreciate their intentions. Destroying a homestead is a difficult undertaking for any leader. In the absence of clearly defined process that citizens can follow, should they require land, the pain and chaos will be with us for some time to come. Mr. Government is to rise to the occasion now. Agree. Apart from the laws, sometimes I don't understand, guys. I just don't understand. I've got a family of mine who was telling me that their houses were destroyed, and that land apparently belonged to the preacher, belonged to Mr. Makandiwa, the preacher. You know, that was in Harare somewhere. The Chitumbi, I think, I don't know, Waterfall, sorry, I just heard. And I was sitting and I began to think, and I said, okay, I'm looking at people who had paid money. But apparently they paid money to people who sold them illegal land, according to them. And I said to myself, we are speaking about a preacher, like Makandiwa owns, he says, the most, exotic home. Apart from that land, it's got lands all over the place. It's got minerals, from what I heard, investments all over the place, is successful. But the same person can go into those people that does not have anything, maybe that's their face warm, and then take that away from them. That makes me question, literally, like, what's going on? What's going on? And from the first place, who sold those land to the people? Why aren't they be arrested? Why aren't we say, okay, you know what, guys, I understand you took my land. Can I have the money this land was sold? And it's fine, since they already built their homes, it's okay, I'll get another land somewhere else. As a preacher who can be a giver, with the understanding that this world is not a home. We own nothing. We came with nothing. We live with nothing. It's simply land. Mavune madaka. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If that can be understood, maybe the way we can do the issues can be different. That's just my opinion. What is the point of letting people be homeless? People homeless as we speak. And I'm a preacher. and I'm preaching about God and love and unity and giving, sacrifice. But whatever I preach, I don't leave it. Then what's the point of preaching it then? What is the point? It's sad. What can we say? In 1979, people were fighting for the land. Fast forward in 2024, some people are losing land from their own brothers. It is sad. Maybe one day we'll wake up and things will be different. We keep on praying for the country. If we are cursed, may God forgive us. Whatever we did wrong, He must tell us what we should do so that He can forgive us. Because honestly, we are just so sick and tired. As Zimbabweans, we want peace. We want love. We want unity. We want to live again. Every day, there's always drama and drama. We are tired. Honestly. Moving on to family life. Crimes of passion. Whew. Let me just have some water. You know, I'm a firm believer that prevention is better than cure. You know, I believe in that. Prevention is better than cure. So whenever we teach about, in relationship-wise, we teach about things. We're not crazy. We are literally just saying, so you can avoid problems. But people don't want to listen. They think we're crazy. You know, someone may win, but the other one won't. Some will die in the process and others may survive. You know what I mean? You can have you and your bodies doing all these stupid things and one will survive, but the other won't. You know what I mean? Remember I told you what the doctor in Zim said? He said it's heartbreaking that most of the guys who come back in Zimbabwe, even women too, most of them are HIV positive. He said the only gift they bring back to their parents is HIV. Because when they get into foreign lands, they don't know how to live respectfully. They don't respect themselves and their bodies. They just prostitute themselves and then they go back home with a gift of HIV with absolutely nothing except a disease back to their parents. Sad. So crime of passion in Gweru today, quite very sad. So a Gweru woman allegedly stabbed her husband's girlfriend to death with a kitchen knife after she found the woman in bed with the husband in their matrimonial bedroom. Okay, I hope I didn't read that. Matrimonial bedroom. Yo, I won't be fighting and I'm not that kind of person. You know, I'm the person that if I found you there, if you're a woman in my house with my husband, you know, the kind of woman I am, I'm going to say, ma'am, can I make you some coffee, tea? All right, God help me. I'm that kind of person who can say, ma'am, do you want some tea? Can I make you coffee? Do you want milk? Okay. Do you want milk? Okay. Can I make you brown milk? You know, white milk? Okay. Soya milk? Or do you drink milk? Dairy products? What do you want? Green tea? I'm that kind of person because I'm very dramatic. You know what I mean? One thing I'll tell you is you need to be prepared in life because anything can happen and how you react will determine the outcome of the situation. Honestly, this is a mess. You found your husband with another woman, you stabbed the woman, now you're going to prison, you are leaving your children. Now both, the other woman is dead. You are going to prison. And the man is still living his life. In the next month or so, this man will be dating another woman. I can tell you facts. And women need to think about these kind of things before you act. That's a dangerous thing. Don't fight. Walk away. You told Nani good to chema, she's running out with somebody else and you come back later. You know what I mean? You better. But again, I'm gonna talk to another woman, there, single woman. Please, if you ever think of doing your shenanigans, at least respect someone's home. I'm single, so I know men can lie. So when a man comes to me, he's like he likes me, whatever, and goes, oh yeah, get me your details. I do my research. I have my people who search you wherever you are in the world. They will search you. And we will know that you are lying. If you are married, we will know you are married. If you have 500 women, we know you've been there and you've been there and you've been there. We'll search. So wisdom really, if someone is married, have the respect of another woman. That's my mantra. I don't date married men. I do not date married men. I do my research. I only date single men. You know what I mean? Married men, not in my lifetime. I don't wish to be a second wife. I don't want to be in a part of, I'm not a polygamist person. So I won't take that. In my lifetime, no, it's not me. So guys, these stories are very sad. So next time, play your cards well. Men, please respect your wives. If you are married, respect your wife. If you want to do your shenanigans, at least respect that woman at home. If you want to do it, respect your wife. Please, I'm begging you. This is sad. Now you have got two women. Your other wife is in prison. You've got children. The other one is dead. Just imagine. How are you going? Will you ever smile again? Sometimes it's hard. Let's make the right decisions. Let us just be careful of how we act, because every action carries consequences. That's all I have for you tonight. And I'm going to land right here. I love you so much. May God bless you, and may God bless Zimbabwe. Yahweh must sleep tight, and I'll see you tomorrow. If it's your day right now, have a great one, and do it tomorrow. Bye for now.